What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Feezy-built channel. Today we're going to be tackling the engine bay again. This will be a part 3. I've been trying to get all this nasty residue from the gold tape that I had, the heat tape that I had on the Firewall. So I've been soaking this in Goof Off. I should have got the pro grade strength, but this is still seeming to work. But it really has to sit in there for a couple minutes to actually start doing anything. So as I'm doing that, I'm going to start taping off the chassis and getting that ready for the self-etching primer in the engine bay. I want to tape off the entire body so I don't get overspray on anything. I'm going to prep all the places that I'm about to tape with some glass cleaner. I just didn't have any grease and wax remover, or I couldn't even find any while I was in town, but that'll do the job. It's what I used to use all the time. So I'm going to pull this car cover off, pull everything off the chassis, tape that off, cover up the doors. It'll come back over here, and we got to get all this glue off like I was talking about. Tape off these brake lines, sand down the Firewall to the best of our ability. Got to pull a traction bar out, get that out of the way, have a different place for this car to be held up, honestly, because it just needs, I need to go grab a jack. I totally forgot about that. But so I'm gonna put you guys on time lapse and just start getting the chassis taped off, and I'll get right back with you.
Retro.
Alright guys, what's up? We got that all taped off. I cut off part of that time lapse just because it was kind of boring. I figured you didn't really need to see that, but this is where we're at. We got a good tape line. We got to finish these little corners up, but that's okay for right now. I'm just kind of leaving it. We taped off at the bottom run, so we're making sure there's no overspray that's getting up into here. It's going to be getting on the brand new paint on the chassis. Everything's just tucked back here. I think we'll be fine. Got the doors covered. Same thing over here. It's all the same stuff. So now we're gonna go ahead and try to scrape all this stuff off the Firewall. I mean scrape, like quite literally. I am using a credit card and Goof Off, and I've reapplied Goof Off about 3 times. So hopefully we can get this stuff off. You can see my first attempt, I got it hot and tried peeling it, and it literally ripped the paint off. That adhesive is on there like super glue, and it is a pain in the butt to get off. So cross my fingers, hoping this works out. Once again, I think I'm just gonna kind of throw you guys on time lapse while I'm scratching this off and just cover part of it because it's just boring stuff, and then I'll start recording actual good footage as soon as we get down to the point of taping off the brake lines and doing all that jazz, starting to sand everything up. But God, what a pain in the butt. That stuff is literally on there, like I said before, like super glue, almost like an epoxy. It just does not want to come off. So I'm gonna soak it again for 10 minutes. I'm gonna have a smoke, and then I'm gonna start scraping that stuff off. So get back to you as soon as we do that. What's up, guys? So I totally lied to you guys. I didn't record any of that. It got super frustrating. I ended up putting a lot of goof off on that firewall to get the residue off, and I let it sit for a while like it said, and it wasn't coming off. It wasn't coming off, so I kept on reapplying. Well, I didn't really notice that the label didn't say anything about being surface safe, so you probably already know where this is going, right? That paint that was existing the first couple coats plus the clear coat just turned into like tape residue in itself. It was just mush, like unsandable. It was horrible. I know I said removing the tape was the worst part. I had no idea what I was getting myself into, and I'll never use that again on anything that I like. I didn't record anything, and I kind of feel bad about it, but I was super frustrated and not even in the mood to be on a camera. So all said and done now, I think I'm in good enough shape to where tomorrow I can come back in here and really get the nitty gritty done of the sanding. It's just getting late. I have Chris over here with me, and it's just time to go home. We live an hour away, and I need to get away from this. I've been going at it for like 6 hours straight. It's been unreal. Like, you can ask Chris. The entire time I haven't stopped. We ate and had dinner. That was about it. That's the only break I've taken. But some of these areas, the self-etching primer is, just these two areas right underneath the tower here. The reason that there's etching primer there is because it literally burnt all the way through the paint, that goof off, and we went straight down to bare metal, and it was horrible. And I couldn't blend the lines back in, so I got all that gnarly stuff off and back to a nice good state. Like, paint will stick to it now. It's not going to peel off or flake. The big thing that I'm worried about with those areas is that if I don't get them level and get them right now, it's just never going to be straight. There's nothing I can do about it because it went straight to bare metal, and you have so many layers of paint here. Pretty much what I'm getting at, you would have to take paint remover and literally go to bare metal all the way down the firewall for it to ever look right. And I'm trying to get this to be perfect in my own opinion, so this is going to be a total pain in the butt fixing those two areas. It happened in both of those areas because everything when I sprayed just kind of pooled up there, you know. Yeah, rookie mistake. If you're going to do this, or you're removing, I don't know who else would be doing this other than like K-Series guys, but if you're going to be doing this, I recommend getting pro grade, or maybe even something different than goof off, because that was horrendous. But like I said before, this is where we got it. I got everything taped off to where I'm happy. The fender wells, or the wheel wells here, where we already did all the underlayment, I'm going to come through and just use painter's paper over them and just kind of drape it over. There might get some overspray in here, or who knows, I might have to redo these. But as long as the big course of it's covered, I'm not that concerned. I'm pretty happy with the tape job, but like tomorrow I have to come in here. You can just see all this grungy, grimy stuff. And I'm just going to use a paintbrush and agitate this while I have my shop vac, and shop vac all this out. I have to take the old windshield wiper motor out. And I think I'm just going to shoot some like jet black paint or gloss black paint back here, because you never see this, but I just don't want it to be red anymore. This would be like technically the last piece of red on the car, so I'm gonna get rid of that as well. I think that's it for right now. I'm probably just gonna put this in the same video, and we'll fast forward to tomorrow. So I'll see you guys then. What's up, guys? Day 2 on this process. I didn't record a whole lot on the last because I got super frustrated. Like I was saying, I don't even know how many of the clips I'm gonna put in there. So I'll just do a quick recap on what we did. If you guys watched the previous video, the part 2, we had all that gold tape that was on the firewall. well, it left like a really nasty residue all over the place. And so now we're trying to get that off. I used a really strong strength goof off, and it messed the paint up really bad. You want to turn that down just a tidbit, Chris? And sorry, we have TV upstairs. I got my buddy Chris Armenta here chilling out. So, but like I said, it just started to melt the paint practically, and I neutralized it as fast as I could. I wasn't using the right goof off, but it ruined it. So several hours of sanding and scraping and get all that to where it is now. So I'm pretty stoked, but I'll record this segment of sanding. I'll come through and actually sand this and get it to where I want it. It was just too bad yesterday, and I needed to get home, so I didn't even want to take you guys on that journey. It was horrible. All I gotta say is don't use goof off on something that you really care about, because you might end up destroying paint, especially finished paint. Some of you guys might already know that, but I use it at work, and we've never had this happen before. Maybe it was just a cheap paint, but just be really cautious. Where that stuff ended up pulling up was down here on these, like the back tower behind the strut. Of course, because it was all over the firewall, and it just totally destroyed the paint. That's why there's etching primer on there. A lot of that's down to bare metal, and I needed kind of a guide coat to show me where I was at. That's kind of a patch job right in this area to give me a high and low, because it totally flaked the paint off. I went through and sanded it and blended it as best I could, but it's hard to explain when it goes all the way down to bare metal and you have 7 layers opposing. Trying to level it, it'll never look correct. So that's why that etching primer is there. Today I need to, don't harp on me about this, it's kind of ghetto, but oh, I gotta come through and pull this windshield wiper motor out, which consists of a few of these bolts here, the mounting bolts, one there, right, just kind of make sure these are fully out, fully free. Okay, those are out for sure. Put all the bolts here. You gotta remember what order they went in. Fish that out of there. Okay. Sorry, it's hard doing it on one hand, guys. There's a windshield wiper motor. That's out of the way. I gotta come through and get all this dust and grime out of here. That's another thing that's getting done today. And just pretty much sanding and blending this shit on the firewall. The traction bar, I gotta pull that out real quick. I should have pulled that slave out. I probably should open the tape up. I didn't even think about that. I don't know why I didn't do that. But it's all taped up now. Huh. Yeah. Alright. Well, I'll get back to you guys here in just a second. I'm going to get my plans together, and yeah, I'll get to recording what I'm actually doing. Alright guys, so I'm about to start vacuuming this area up here, and I test ran it and ran the vacuum. I wasn't even going to record this, but I had to just comedy, and who knows, maybe one day we will have a real shop. But this is why we don't have a welder in here. This is like one of the biggest deals, but just watch this power. Watch this. Okay, seeing that? The vacuum still works. That's all that really matters, I guess. All right. So we got most of the big stuff, big debris. Now we can start actually cleaning that area out. But first things first is I'm gonna come through here and I'm gonna get this traction bar off. I have to sand behind that clearly. I also need to get the hood latch and mount all taken down, get all that stuff out of my way. And that's like pretty much it, other than sanding and getting this thing down level. I gotta tape off these wires. I know you guys are probably like, that's super ghetto, but I've already extended the wires back when I first did this engine bay and put them through here, and I'm not trying to pull all the wire heads and clip the wires or nothing like that. So I'm just gonna kind of tape this up and hope for the best. You can maneuver them around. I've done it several times like this and it's not that big of a deal. One thing that does suck is I left this cylinder on, and that probably needs to be removed. Not only because I need to get behind it, but it makes sanding this area a million times easier. So I'm probably gonna have to cut the plastic and get back in here, but if I can cut it nice and clean, I should be able to tape that seam right back up and just drape another piece of plastic over the top of that and call it a day. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. But like I said before, I'm just gonna get in here and remove the traction bar. D-wall. I jinxed it. Got one loose. One or two, because I already pulled one. I already got rid of one of these heads. Okay. Like that. All right. Alright guys, traction bar off, the nuts didn't break inside the chassis, which is awesome. That does happen, so be careful if you're like gonna install one of these guys. That's all it is for the install, is you would take out where your OEM tow hooks that come down and around, you know, you get rid of those, you bolt the traction bar up, and you have a bar with Heims joints on each end that go right to the lower control arm, and that, you know, you can adjust it and now push the suspension further back or pull it forward. I like to push mine back so that that natural give point where the suspension wants to hop and fall to, it's pulled in that direction, so it just go, you know. That's the point behind them. But we got that out of the way so we can actually sand behind there You can see I never painted behind us before. I think I'm gonna get sanded. I know I need to remove that cylinder, but I'm just gonna start sanding for now because that's kind of a pain in the butt, and I want to start actually making some real progress. Sorry for all the background noise. You can see I kind of got you guys wedged up so that it's not so bad, but this door just, you know, rattles, and all the units next to us, you probably hear those. It's just really windy outside. It's pretty bad. Here's our ghetto heater system. It's actually pumping out a lot of nice, really warm air. You can see I don't have my coat on anymore in here. It's nice and warm. So I think it's ready to just start getting to work, start sanding. All right, I'll pick back up with you guys when I get to that. All right, guys, so here I am. I got several little sheets of 220 cut out to my sizes, smaller to bigger. Nothing too big though, so that I can get in there with my hands. This is all going to be hand sanding. I've already kind of started just to make sure everything feels right. That way I'm not wasting your guys' time. I'm going to go ahead and throw this on time lapse and just kind of buzz through this whole firewall as fast as I can. I don't know how long of time lapse I'll actually give you guys, but you'll catch the gist, right? So I'm just going to do a little demonstration. I got this one folded in half. I'm going to come in here. You can see I'm burning through, but I'm blending. I'm blending all these old paint blemishes and getting rid of any of this old crusty gnarliness. But you guys catch the gist of it, right? So pretty simple. 220, that's what I'm using before my etching primer. It's going to give a nice adhesion for the primer, and this primer will fill any of these little scratch marks that are left behind it. Mainly we want this etching primer not as like a filler, nothing like that, but to cover anything that's bare metal, to give us a nice even coat, and it's going to stick, it's going to adhere a lot better, and then we'll put our other primers on top, or who knows, we might even shoot our color right over the etching. It all depends on how much we need to level out and what kind of work is all entailed in here. So like I said, throw you guys on time lapse, and I'll be talking at you in a minute.
Retro.
What's up, guys? So we got dinner. We got propane. The heater's back on. It's currently like 7 o'clock. I'm about to get back down there and get back to work. Got a lot done so far, but I'm gonna eat this first, and then I'm gonna get back to work. So I thought I'd give you guys a quick update on my steaming delicious Sammy Pidgey. What's up, guys? Alright, well, I haven't recorded in a minute. I think the last thing I recorded was me eating, but I've gotten all this wiped down like 4 times, vacuumed, blown out, everything. I think one of the biggest deals that people don't really go over when you paint is all these crevices, like bolt holes, all these little areas. If you don't get the dust out from behind them, the aerosol can is pretty much like spraying a compressor at them. So the dust is going to agitate and come back right up in your fresh paint. So I can't stress enough how much you want to get behind those crevices and make sure to get every bit of dirt or debris that you can find out of there. Really be thorough and do your best, because that's going to, contribute to the end result. I'm to the point now where I can shoot a coat of the self-etching primer on. I'm just gonna set you guys back there while I shoot the first coat and kind of go over all this. I think we're good. There's a couple spots that I need to, make sure to dry thoroughly first, because I've been sitting here, like I said, I've been washing it. As you can see in the shop, we don't have a pressure washer or nothing like that, so I've just been using glass cleaner. Usually you would use like wax and grease remover, but everywhere was out of it. Nobody had any, and it works just as good. I've always used it before until recently when I painted the car. But so that's pretty much it, guys. I'm going to put you guys back here for a second, make sure this is all dry before I start doing anything. I just seen one little wet spot that concerned me. Wasn't nothing big. Come in here with the compressor. Look, make sure it's dry. Alright guys, I'm going to start off with the self-etching primer. This one's already been opened and used. And I'm just going to lay a light coat, something to get tacky and sticky. That way I can actually put the coats on thick afterwards. You don't want to start off just putting on a lot of color. If the color's not transferring on, just keep on going in light coats until the color's there. Don't just try to lay it on super thick, because you're going to end up with a run, or it's going to be way too thick and have really bad orange peel, and you're going to have to sand it anyway. So I'm going to not do the front clip yet until I get out of the engine bay. So I'm going to start back at the firewall. I'm going to start where your windshield wiper goes, actually, because it's like a spot I don't really care about. I'm just dusting it to cover up that color. Fan moving the air away from us. Like I said, I'm just dusting a little bit of primer in here. I'm not fully covering nothing, just covering up some of this color. I'm going to shoot it black back here, so Man, this stuff lays on awesome. It's like professional paint. About to get that paint high, Chris.
Oh, yeah, pretty high.
Well, she is no longer purple, red, gray, black, and whatever color. She's one solid color again, boys and girls. But with this, it definitely shows where all the work needs to be done, and there is quite a bit of work to be done, let me tell you. So, I mean, you know, it is what it is. I think I'm going to spray one more coat on it, and then I'm going to call it a night, honestly, because there's nothing I can do. So this will be part 3 or part 4 or part 100 or whatever it is of shaving the engine bay on the Civic. If you made it this far, please like, comment, subscribe. We're trying to make it to 1,000 subscribers right now and get monetized. That's our goal. If you haven't watched any of the previous videos, please go and watch the old videos. Give them a like, comment, and subscribe. And if you made it this far, thank you very much.